Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Thinking Crypto channel, your home for crypto news and interviews. I have big news to share with you all. We have data showing the United States is now in the lead with Bitcoin mining. As I've been saying for years, and we've been seeing more of this activity happening, miners moving from China to the United States. Well, the United States is now in the lead worldwide. So this is very big. We're also going to talk about crypto regulations, and the powerhouse that is Andreessen Horowitz is now going and knocking on the Washington, D.C. politicians' doors to try to get them to do the right thing with crypto and provide clear regulations. This is really great news because they have a lot of money, a lot of power. We also have news of the SEC, Hester Peirce, and other commissioners and the Ripple XRP lawsuit situation. A lot of folks weighing in here, so I want to share the information with you guys and also talk about the Bitcoin price and what we can expect next. So before we get to it, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment below, and hit the subscribe button if you're new here. It helps support the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. Guys, this video is brought to you by OKCoin Crypto Exchange, where you can buy, sell, and trade your favorite cryptocurrencies and you don't have to pay high fees. OKCoin charges low fees. Also, you can stake your crypto and keep 100% of the rewards. You don't have to pay any fees. In fact, OKCoin is the only exchange that you can buy Miami coin. So be sure to sign up, link in the description. All right, look at the market. It's looking really good here, guys, because Bitcoin is continuing its move. We are, as we've been talking about, we expect Bitcoin to pump, then the altcoins will follow as we've seen historically. Well, Bitcoin is at $57,500 at the recording of this video. Ethereum is at over $3,600, Cardano at $2.20, XRP at $1.13. So we're seeing some green across the board, but we still have ways to go. If I pull up here the Bitcoin weekly chart, notice our third green candle is forming. We'll see how this week ends, but as I've been predicting with my amateur technical analysis drawing here, but following the market cycles, I've been right so far. We're going to pump, I think, to the old all-time high of 64,000. And then I think we'll see a correction and then continue to pump as we head into November. So macro level, if you take a look at some charts here from TechDev, who does some great Bitcoin analysis, he said, closer look at Bitcoin Fib formula. So talking about the Fibonacci, which has called the last two tops within dollars. Linear 5.618 Fibonacci extension from the high above log 1.618 to low below log 1.272. Now, some of you might be like, what the hell did you just say? Well, long story short, or the interpretation of that is that the previous bull market peaks have been within what he just talked about here, those respective averages for the using the Fibonacci model. So if we use the same model, right, applied to this current cycle that we're in, we are on track to new all-time highs. Things are playing out very similarly. History doesn't repeat when it comes to crypto, but it often does rhyme, and it can be very close. Now, here's another example, and he said here, Bitcoin's Q4 is off to the expected start, and we're double peaking like we did in 2013. So we've had our first peak earlier this year, and we are currently in a very similar spot of where we're going to break out to new all-time highs as we head towards the end of the year. Now, as I've stated before, this could spill over into January. So as always, have a plan, know what you're doing, what prices you're taking profits at, because no one can call the top, despite all of these respective Fibonacci models or this model or that model. No one knows the future, but we can at least use the data and not our emotions and feelings to make some informed decisions here. So have a plan. Be sure to check out in the description of the video or podcast my link to a video showing my cash out plans and things like that, so you can have an idea of how you can execute on cashing out and taking profits. Now, Charlie Biello shared something just showing the growth of Bitcoin, and I think is analogous of the growth of the crypto asset class, because altcoins follow Bitcoin. In October 2011, Bitcoin had a market cap of only $30 million. Now let's just jump to 2017 when we hit a peak. It had a market cap of $95 billion. Jump to October 2021, this month, of course, $1.08 trillion. Look at the growth, guys. That is pretty spectacular. And I don't think any other asset class has moved or grown this fast. And as I've stated many times, it's global. You don't need to be an accredited investor. You can put $100 in Bitcoin or any other altcoin, and you're part of the asset class. There's never been anything like that before. Now, there's some interesting adoption happening, guys, in Miami, which we've covered at a lot, in fact. And I've interviewed the mayor of Miami, Francis Suarez, earlier this year, where he talked about making Miami a crypto-friendly city, putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet of the city's treasury, attracting Bitcoin miners and so forth. Well, it looks like he's looking to make that push to get this done. He said Miami just needs state approval to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. He wants to do it, but the state, obviously, like the governor, I think DeSantis is his name, would need to give the green light for them to do this. He also wants to pay government employees in Bitcoin. And this is adoption, my friends. And as I've stated many times, game theory will play out where other cities in Florida and other states will want to do the same. So this is very bullish for the market and the future of crypto. Now, it seems like almost every month or week, there is a new billionaire jumping into Bitcoin and crypto. Well, here's another one. Billionaire Barry Sternlicht uses Bitcoin to hedge against inflation. You may say, who the hell is Barry Sternlicht? Well, he is an American billionaire and co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Starwood Capital Group, an investment fund with over $60 billion in assets under management. So all of these big players are coming in, and the reason behind this is they certainly want to have a store of value, a hedge against the inflation that's happening, all the money printing, right? And this started with Stanley Druckenmiller last year coming out publicly, writing the letter. Then we saw Bill Miller and Stanley Druckenmiller, and Paul Tudor Jones started it last year, and then Stanley Druckenmiller, Bill Miller, and Ray Dalio, and all these guys started jumping in. So this is a really big sign of what's happening. And I've said it before that this time around in this asset class, the little guy has the ability to front run a lot of these institutional investors because a lot of them are still waiting on clarity. And I think a lot of these billionaires who are getting in now, and if you're getting in now, you're on the side of smart money. You don't want to be the dumb money crowd, which buys the top. You buy the lows and sell the highs, right? And this is not just true for crypto, it's true for stocks and other markets. Now, you do have to study the market cycles to know when is the bear market and when is the bull market, what's the top, what's the bottom. So keep these things in mind. All right, guys. So Congressman Tom Emmer tweeted out this article that I want to share with you guys, which talks about U.S. Has claimed the Bitcoin mining crown following China's crackdown. Tom Emmer said China's regulatory crackdown took them off the map for crypto. It's a cautionary tale, and we can't allow it to be repeated in the United States. So obviously, Congressman Tom Emmer, I've interviewed him. He understands crypto. He gets it. He realizes this is the future. I wish more people in Congress would listen to him and pass his Securities Clarity Act and so forth. But, he's highlighting a great point that the United States has an opportunity here to just take control of this asset class like they did with the internet and benefit from it. And China obviously has their share of the market with Bitcoin mining has effectively dropped to zero. This is according to the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance. So the data is showing the adoption in the United States. So the latest CCAF data shows the United States accounting for 35.4% of the global hash rate, the world's total computational power used to mine Bitcoin as of the end of August, more than doubling from 16.8% at the end of April. Kazakhstan and Russia followed the United States with shares of 18.1% and 11% respectively, up from 8.2% and 6.8% in April, according to the CCAF, which is part of the Cambridge Judge Business School. So a couple of things, and this is not to prop myself up, but I've been talking about this for years. If you go look at my videos, even when President Trump was in office, I showed, like, I talked about this. Even though he was bashing Bitcoin, they weren't banning it, and they were allowing the miners to come in. And then when this ban in China ultimately happened, all these miners started flocking to the United States, and states like Texas and Miami were standing there with open arms, right? I call Miami a state, but I should say Florida, but many other states as well, but Texas, I think, being in the lead. So I hope you see what is happening here. Once again, you could hate Bitcoin, you could just hold one altcoin, but this is very good for the maturation and growth of the market. And I've said it many times, despite what Gary Gensler, Elizabeth Warren, Janet Yellen, and all these political clowns have said, the fact is nothing is banned. And we saw the Fed chairman, Jay Powell, he said, no, we don't have any plans to ban Bitcoin and crypto. Of course not. If Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and all these big billionaires are holding Bitcoin now, they're not going to ban it, because money talks, my friends. And here's an example of money talking. A16z, Andreessen Horowitz. If you don't know who Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz are, you got to do your research. And by the way, I interviewed Mike Belshie, who's the founder of BitGo, the crypto custodian, which recently got bought by Galaxy Digital for $1.2 billion. He worked at Netscape with Mark Andreessen and Ben Horowitz. These guys are on another level when it comes to technology and investing. Well, let me play the clip here about the news around what Andreessen Horowitz is doing.
Crypto regulation is coming, and one of the biggest crypto players wants to get ahead of it. Alon Mui joins us now with that story. Hey, Alon.
Well, good morning, Joe. The world's biggest crypto fund is coming to Washington to push for a new roadmap for regulation. Andreessen Horowitz Crypto is dispatching top executives to meet with officials at the White House, on Capitol Hill, and at government agencies. We got an early look at their agenda for an increasingly decentralized internet.
There's a critical need for a national conversation on how we're going to use technology in an open society. This is much larger than cryptocurrency. It's much larger than digital payments. This is about the future of the internet. It's about the next generation of the internet.
Now, there are some big ideas for what's known as Web3, better security, more control over privacy, more opportunities for more people. But there are also some specific policy priorities as well, like embracing stablecoins, writing rules based on risk, and possibly creating a new regulatory agency focused on crypto.
Did you hear that? Creating a new regulatory agency focused on crypto. Essentially, it would stop all of the fighting with this SEC and the CFTC and all these power grabs that are trying to happen. Now, not so much the CFTC, but rather Gary Gensler and the SEC. But guys, notice they said embracing stable coins. So I tweeted about this today, that if one such party could sway Janet Yellen and President Biden and the president's working group, it would be Andreessen Horowitz. Once again, these guys were here at the dawn of the internet. And I mean, they started Netscape, and they were the first internet IPO. And then they were heavily invested in Coinbase, which did the first major crypto IPO, guys. It's amazing to see these things play out. And like I said, watch my interview with Mike Belshie if you want to get that history. Remember, knowledge is power, the more you know here. So here's what they tweeted out: how to win the future, our policy agenda for Web3. It's time to build a better internet for unlocking opportunities, securing data, and solving critical challenges to society. Now, I love that they framed it under Web3, because if you just go crypto, 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 there's a knee-jerk reaction and maybe a stigma in some of the minds of like these politicians and old school people, right? So they're going with the angle of, hey, remember that internet thing that did really well in the 90s and we were part of it, we helped create it? Well, here's version 3, and it involves crypto and stablecoins and blockchain. So you need to get this right. This is the future. So I am very happy to see this, guys. And, I've interviewed various people that the lobbying, the discussions, the education and awareness building needs to happen with these crypto companies, and the largest crypto fund is doing it. So I hope other companies join them, guys. And we know Coinbase, Ripple, and many others have been trying to do this for years. So I like what I'm seeing here, and this makes me very bullish and happy. All right, let's talk about Gary Gensler, the SEC, Ripple, and all kinds of stuff. Now, you guys may have seen my interview with Hester Peirce a day ago. If you haven't, please go watch it. I ask all the hard questions. It was a bit difficult, but I asked all the hard questions. Well, Stuart Elrod weighed in on what Commissioner Hester Peirce, outlined in a new speech talking about crypto and with the need for regulation. Well, he weighed in saying Commissioner Peirce takes aim at the crypto is a Wild West trope, the persistence of both self-regulation and calls by the crypto community for clarity from government regulators suggests that lawlessness is not the prevailing culture of the crypto frontier. Of course not. Are there people who are doing negative things, bad things in crypto? Of course. But the same thing applies to every other asset class in every aspect of life, right? That is just life. You have people who do good things, who have good plans and things like that. And there's people who are just doing bad things. You can't stop that. That's just human nature, right? So to paint a broad stroke here with this subsection of people are doing this shady stuff and paint the whole industry that way is asinine. So Hester Peirce just brings common sense to the conversation. And gosh, I wish she could become the chairman of the SEC. Things will move along much faster. And even Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong weighed in on this. He said, amazing leadership from Hester Peirce at the SEC. Thank you. This is what we need as an industry and country, not fear-mongering and land grabs for jurisdiction. The Wild West is a badge of honor because it is where the opportunity and growth resides. Every asset class, even the internet, my goodness, I remember things I did on the web in the 90s. I can't disclose that because I could probably get in trouble. Don't remember, it wasn't like super illegal, but along the lines of hacking things, right? Where I was with friends and we were learning about the internet. We're like, oh, we could probably do this, but it wasn't because we're trying to, go rob a bank or something like that or take down something. It was just like, what could we get away with the knowledge that we have, because it was the wild, wild west days. But guess what? Activities like that help a lot of companies and commerce and websites to build better security. And eventually the Wild West got removed, right? But everything starts that way, guys. So we have to keep these things in mind. But like I said, it's mainly the incumbents who control, like the Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, who control Gensler, and they're the puppet masters of the puppets, Gensler and Yellen and so forth. So they're pushing back. But I like, once again, what I'm seeing with Andreessen Horowitz. And like I said, guys, I interviewed Hester, so be sure to check it out. And she was nice enough to respond to my tweet, highlighting the interview. But we have something interesting. Another commissioner of the SEC, Caroline Crenshaw, kind of weighed in on the safe harbor and some things, but I don't think she totally gets it. Let me give you the details. SEC commissioner says safe harbor laws would have made ICO problems worse. Really? Instead of a safe harbor for crypto firms, SEC Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw called for a bridge in which crypto firms work with the SEC to determine compliance plans. Let's see here. She said that the safe harbor proposal would have exacerbated the problems seen during the initial coin offering boom of 2017 and 2018. Crenshaw made the remarks during an annual SEC Speaks event this month and posted her speech on the SEC website on Tuesday. The commissioner argues that the impact on investors and markets would have been far greater if safe harbor provisions were in place at the time. She says, I think the results would have been even worse for investors and markets. ICOs and other digital assets and offerings raised billions from investors, but most never delivered on their promises. Investors suffered the losses. And continuing, I think it is not coincidence that these problematic offerings predated and continued through the beginning of a multi-year downturn in the value of digital assets, sometimes known as crypto winter. The safe harbor proposal has been advocated by crypto-friendly SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce. The proposal seeks to grant network developers a 3-year grace period to build a decentralized network without fearing SEC legal action, but has yet to be embraced by most of the other commissioners. You know, what she's saying, Caroline Crenshaw, doesn't make sense, because in any market, you're going to have like great projects, okay projects, and scams. But that's where, if the SEC had an open door and said, "Hey, projects, come in without fear of what, you know, I'm going to shake you down and sue you." If they came in and say, "Hey, something's wrong here. Your project doesn't make sense." But if, you know, the good ones came in, and there was a lot of ICOs, a lot of great projects out of ICOs out of 2017. They came in and said, "Hey, here's what we're doing." And they said, "You know what? That's good. No, don't worry about the securities laws for 3+ years. Show that your network is going to get decentralized over time, and you're good," right? So that's the point of Hester Peirce's safe harbor. But I don't think Caroline Crenshaw gets it. Her solution is not really detailed as the safe harbor. So maybe she has to provide more information. But the good thing is, though, silver lining here is that at least she's talking about it, she's engaging about it, she's thinking about it. So I got to give her credit for that, versus Gary Gensler, who's not even reading the safe harbor, right? He's not even thinking about that. It's pathetic. Now, Stuart Elrod also weighed in on this. He said, "Appreciate the sentiment of bridge building, but 1, many have embraced compliance. 2, seems like the only reward for cooperating with the SEC is an enforcement action or a threat of one," right? So the SEC has not set the right precedence here. So she can't say that. It's like people are scared to go talk to the SEC because they might get sued. Not that they're doing something wrong, but the SEC has not put out clear crypto guidelines. We know this. Stuart continues, he said, "But good to know Commissioner Crenshaw is at least reading the crypto Twitter." So once again, that's the silver lining here. Now, Congressman Warren Davidson, obviously one of the great congressmen here who has been pushing for crypto regulations. You know, he responded to digital assets investors' video of Gary Gensler talking. He said, "What if there were a body somewhere that could pass a law so that we wouldn't need to rely on regulation by enforcement or a threat or a patchwork of judicial opinions? It's time for Congress to pass the Token Taxonomy Act to bring legal clarity to digital assets." So absolutely, man, couldn't have said it better. On the note of the SEC, where the hell is the Bitcoin ETF? It's unbelievable. In my interview with Hester Peirce, you know, she's frustrated. She's like, "Yeah, I can't believe I have to keep talking about this. We should have approved one already." Canada, there's multiple ETFs approved. There's other countries that ETFs are approved. And now Canada's largest Bitcoin ETF is open to mutual fund investors. Other countries are progressing. And I think there's been news of capital leaving the United States and going to these respective ETFs. I think Kathy Wood's ARK Invest is looking to do that. So it's a shame. It's pathetic. And I don't know, Gary Gensler, what the hell he's doing, what the SEC is doing, but maybe like Andreessen Horowitz is outlining here, we need a new agency to handle crypto, because the SEC can't even get out of its own way. It's unbelievable what's happening. So guys, what do you think about this news? Like I said, this Bitcoin mining boom in the United States is for real. Like I said, go back and check my videos, guys. I've talked about this. The United States was not going to sit on its laurels and watch China control the hash rate when politicians and all these folks are grabbing up Bitcoin. Bad optics, bad politics, and if they want this asset class to grow, people are not going to put money into something if they have the perception China's controlling it and they're going to be able to do this and that and all that stuff, right? So very bullish. And exciting times ahead. And like I said, this Andreessen Horowitz news is really big. And I'm gonna try to get an interview with Mark Andreessen to kind of round out the Netscape mafia. If you guys haven't seen my playlist, I obviously interviewed Mike Belch, Bill Barheit, who was also there, Brandon Ike, who was also there. Because it's just amazing. These guys who were at the dawn of the internet and built the internet are now here in crypto. And I think that shows you this thing is here to stay. It is Web 3.0. And it is certainly the future, and such an opportunity to make significant profits here investing in these assets and even these companies if you're an accredited investor. So leave your thoughts and comments below, hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.